Hi folks, Thomas Henson here with thomashenson.com, and today is another episode of Big Data, Big Questions. And so today's question comes in around what are some of the ways that you can learn, or some strategies that you can use to learn new topics in data engineering, machine learning engineering, or pretty much anything. And so the concept that I'm going to talk about is 30 days to learn anything. And so really what I use to do that, this is a little strategy around getting skilled up in any kind of topic. Because there's so many different things you have to learn, right? Like there's so many different opportunities with technology. It's like, all right, do I learn Flink? Do I learn Spark? Do I learn Splunk? Do I learn Elasticsearch? Do I learn HDFS? It can be overwhelming, and if you're like, oh man, what do I do? And so one of the strategies that I use is I do 30 minutes a day for 30 days. And so I think about it like that, like, hey, I can do anything for 30 minutes. And really what I try to do is I try to set aside 30 minutes every day and really take out one topic. And so if you think about it from the perspective of, if you take 20 minutes or 30 minutes just to set an agenda, and it can be something as simple as, hey, I'm going to find 10 or 20 YouTube videos on this one topic, and I'm going to go through those. Or one of the things that I'll do is I'll go through my Pluralsight courses. So not specifically mine, other people's Pluralsight courses, and look, be like, hey, I'm really interested in Kafka, or I'm really interested in maybe video editing or something like that. So I can do these green screens, right? So, but you can take and you can go through those topics and you can kind of set together an agenda, and you'll be surprised how fast it goes. Now, you've probably seen other people talk about, and there's really popular out there, like 100 days of 1 hour of machine learning, or I think it's like, 100 days, and it's always like an hour that you'll go through and do maybe some data science coursework. And so those are great, and I'm not saying that, 30 minutes is better than an hour, right? And an hour is always better, but I look at it as like something achievable, right? So if you're just starting out, or if you're looking for ways to really just kind of start edging towards that way, I think 30 minutes is a great chunk. And so what I used to do is I used to get up early in the morning and I would try to do 30 minutes before. I had a very long commute in a previous career. And so I try to take 30 minutes to learn something new. That's how I learned jQuery and some other things when I was a front-end developer. Fast forward to what I do now is I really just still try to do that 30 minutes. So sometimes whenever I feel like I haven't been learning, I haven't been going through and getting some of the topics that I want to do, is I'll set aside 30 minutes to do that. And so 30 minutes could be anything from reading a book for 30 minutes, going through some tutorials, pretty much anything. And so I want to talk a little bit about the strategy side for doing that too. And so to keep yourself successful, one of the things that you can do is like, okay, you're going to set a time and you're going to strategize, hey, I'm going to watch 10 YouTube videos, and maybe that'll keep you for 5 or 6 or 7 days, right? And so you have those kind of queued up. You've planned that out for your 30 minutes for every 30 days. But then what happens if you missed it one morning or did something else? Like, you want to keep that streak going. So one of the things you could also do is maybe print off a few PDFs of some research papers on whatever topic, or if there's a book, or if there's anything you can do, and set those by your nightstand. That way, if you miss something in the day that you were going through, you have this folder here, you have a book that's sitting by your nightstand that allows for you to, hey, 30 minutes before you go to bed, to be able to read a new research paper, find some kind of topic, and that way you're continuing on. Now, totally you can have those teed up and watch, from your tablet or from your phone on YouTube, by your bedside. But sometimes, some people, me in particular, I'm trying to, use less technology as I'm trying to go to bed. So I still read, I still, will print off different PDFs and research papers there too, just because, there's something with the blue light or something. I don't really know what it is, but I've read enough to say, hey, maybe it's worth something to be able to get better sleep. But all I'm saying is, like, that's a strategy that I use. You really want to have a strategy for, okay, this is my strategy for if everything goes well, but what happens if I'm going to fail? Like, what if I didn't get up early? What if I've got a very young baby? What if the baby stayed up all night and I didn't get up early to be able to do my coding or to do my 30 minutes of learning? I've got another strategy for how I can go through and tackle that throughout the day. You can do the same thing with, putting that book or putting those PDFs inside your book bag or your briefcase or whatever you take, and be able to, read those on your commute, read those at a coffee shop, or read those at lunch, right? And so it's just about continuing as you start to streak those together. So it's like, okay, well, 30 minutes, I get that, but why 30 days? 30 days is just a time boxer, because if you start looking at how much you can learn in 30 days, just doing 30 minutes every day, you'll be very surprised like how fast you can skill up on different topics. And so if you look at it, last year, my strategy around learning more about data science and specifically around deep learning, that's the strategy that I use. So going through Coursera courses, I would use 30 minutes a day. reading a lot of research papers and just going through some TensorFlow coding and everything. So that's how I learned a little bit more about deep learning. And it really wasn't one of those things where it's like, all right, I'm going to take a month to research it. Well, I took a month to research things, but it was only 30 minutes a day too. And so just kind of keep that going. Take a 30-day approach just to say, this is the topic I'm going to take 30 days. This is the other topic. So if you're starting out in data engineering, one of the things is, hey, how do I get started? I would take 30 days to start learning just the Hadoop ecosystem, as far as like downloading the sandbox, going through HDFS, going through maybe Spark, and then going through a little bit around maybe Hive and Pig and just some of the tools that are there. Then in your next 30 days, what you can do is like, hey, I'm really going to dive in and spend 30 days learning Spark, or I'm going to spend 30 days learning Flink. Or maybe it's perspective of, hey, I want to learn a little more about IoT and messaging, so maybe jump into Kafka. But this gives you the ability to continue on. And if you look at where you are 3 months from now, after doing 3 iterations of 30 minutes of code for 30 days, I mean, you're going to have so much more knowledge. And like I said, you can apply this to things outside of the data engineering community, right? Like you can do it with Splunk, you can do it, with anything that you want to do. But it's just an awesome strategy that I've found that kind of helps me jump on and jump aboard. Now, sometimes you do that 30 minutes and you find out, hey man, I'd like to learn a little bit more. So maybe you bump it up to 45 minutes one day or an hour. But keeping it as, hey, I'm volunteering and I'm signing up for only 30 days, that makes it achievable, gives you those bite-sized chunks to really be able to go out and maybe sometime do 100 days of 1 hour of machine learning or data engineering too. So that's all I have for today. I hope you like this. I hope you'll embrace the 30 minutes for 30 days and see kind of what will happen to you after doing 2 or 3 iterations of these. As always, if you have any questions, put them in the comment section here below, and I'll do my best to answer those. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode, and ring that bell so that you always get notified. Until next time, see you again on Big Data, Big Questions.